We so often take for granted the ability to get up in the morning, to have enough food to eat, to get up in the morning and know that we have the freedom to even disagree with our own government and not have to pay a heavy price. And yet that is not the reality for many Christians around the world, including this island nation just to the south of us. And so I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about Cuba. Jerry Newcomb, by the way, has a very good piece in WorldNet Daily that you can probably find as well. But one of our friends, Dylan Burrows, put together something just recently in which he pulled together some of the statements made by some of the senators. In just a minute, I'm going to be quoting from some other members of Congress. And, of course, we were just quoting a minute ago from one of the representatives. That would be Representative Michael Waltz in the House, who is a Republican from Florida. But I was waiting to see what kind of comments we might get from at least two of our U.S. senators that have Cuban connections. And one of those would be Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz, though born, I believe, in Canada, nevertheless, his father grew up in Cuba. And many of the people, not just Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, but I've mentioned others, have been pointing out the irony of the fact that at a time when, according to the Department of Homeland Security, our southern border is reaching unprecedented levels of people coming across the border, almost with no resistance, the same Department of Homeland Security issued this statement, quote, "It is illegal for boaters to depart with the intent to travel to Cuba for any purpose without a permit." The Department of Homeland Security said in this advisory that any boater intending to enter Cuban territorial waters, obviously to help those who want to leave Cuba, must get permission from the U.S. Coast Guard, and violators risk facing fines of up to $25,000 a day and 10 years in prison. And it has been striking that when there have been those who have tried to put together a flotilla of 100 boats to support the Cuban protesters, this has been the reaction. And also the statement from the Secretary of Homeland Security that anyone coming from Cuba will not be allowed to stay. But you have to recognize that we allow so many individuals that are coming right now from Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, wherever they might have come, with little chance that we'll ever find them again. We tell them to come on this particular date in court, and then we release them, and many times don't even know where they are. As a matter of fact, the federal government, as we've now found out, has spent a fair amount of time sending them to the interior of the country and to other places as well. So this has not escaped the notice of at least two individuals who have connections to Cuba. One of those is Ted Cruz, who is the senator from Texas, who said, quote, "This battle for freedom is personal to me. When Batista staged a coup in Cuba and became the brutal dictator in the 1950s, my father fought against his regime. My dad was imprisoned and tortured. His captors broke his nose and bashed in his front teeth until they were dangling from his mouth. He says, my father fled Cuba, the country he had fought for and had been brutalized trying to save in 1957, and came to the United States, came to Texas, with $100 sewn into his underwear. He had nothing. And so, again, he talks about the fact that America must respond. Over the next few days, the world has seen that the American people stand squarely with the men and women of Cuba in their noble fight for liberty. So that comes from Ted Cruz. Let me add another one, another individual with connections to Cuba, and that would be the senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. His parents actually emigrated from Cuba and also had supported the Cuban freedom effort. But he actually put together a resolution to stand with the courageous people of Cuban descent. But he also, in a statement, said Quote, "The Cuban people are courageously standing up for their freedoms after 62 years of subjugation under a communist dictatorship. This is truly a historic moment, one that, as a Cuban American, I'm proud to witness. The people of Cuba have made their voices clear. We must stand in support of the Cuban people's ongoing efforts to live in a nation free from tyranny and censorship."